Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video we are going to talk about Guy Spier because he just announced he was closing his fund. He is closing Aquamarine Capital, and we had some questions in the latest 13F. Why was he selling almost all his stocks? I made a video about this a couple of weeks ago. Today we have the answer. I just received this letter to my mail, to my inbox, and he is closing his fund for health reasons. This is very unfortunate, and Guy Spier has been a great inspiration for the new generation of investors, and it's very unfortunate to see him close his fund. Not because he wants to close, just because it's the safest thing to do. So in this video I want to review the letter, but I can give you some points. You can download it and read it completely if you want to. I just want to highlight a few points to inform you of what is really happening. So as always, this is an annual letter from an investment fund, so he will talk about the performance. You have different kind of fee structures, and since my decision to close down the fund and to return outside capital, our cash has increased to approximately 50%. So the move has already started. He is returning outside capital, and it was a fund managing $500 million in AUM. Okay, so in this letter, it's a big letter actually. He will talk about the situation, what happened to his life, what he is going to do now, this decision, why he chose this, and it's also a look at his investment journey, because unfortunately it will be the end of his public investing job. He will just manage money for his family now, privately. Return capital is not the letter that I wanted to be writing, but it's the one I have to write. Basically, Guy Spier has been managing outside capital for 28 years. He wanted to continue more, but unfortunately, it will not happen. As Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. My punch in the mouth came in late 2024, November 2024. Snow had come early, and I had spent the day skiing with my children, but on the drive back to Zurich, I suffered a grand mal seizure, otherwise known as epileptic fit. It came with no warning, and hopefully for him, he was not the one driving, but it's quite a big deal. So he went to the hospital, and they saw a small tumor in his head. And then a couple of months went by, and he had a new episode, another problem. So this frequency of problems is the reason why he's closing down his fund. If it had only happened once, he would have continued to run the fund, run the show. But a couple of months went by, and you had a second episode. In September 2025, you had seizures. This led to a second craniotomy. Sorry for my accent, guys. I'm just reading this from a French perspective. And the conclusion that the cancer had returned. This recurrence changed the calculus for Aquamarine Fund. Previously, I could have every hope and expectation that the cancer was in remission and that my top priority of compounding our capital remained unchanged. The recurrence meant I could no longer say that. Okay? So one episode, you can just fight back and survive. 2 episodes, that's frequency. And the frequency is shifting his focus when it comes to life. And the letter is very well written. I highly encourage you to read it. And it's a great loss for the investing community because he has helped many people in the investing ecosystem. So he has chosen for his quality of life and for his surroundings that he will return capital and he will spend his precious time with his family, which makes a lot of sense. Okay. Then he has a paragraph about liquidating the portfolio. How is he doing this? And this is the thing we have already started to see on Dataroma, when people track their 13F, something I am doing on my channel, we are tracking what super investors are doing with their capital. You had a lot of selling, a lot of sales, and a lot of questions. Now, all our questions are answered. We now know what is happening. So Aquamarine Capital will no longer be on Dataroma because the fund will close. Okay? And then he is talking about specific picks over his career. Errors of commission, of omission, the companies that were winning, losing. It's very, very interesting. It's a complete review of all the names, all the people that helped him, but also all the specific stocks that he invested in. Overall, I've had fewer than 200 companies in the portfolio. Most of those were very small positions where in order to really learn about the company and the surrounding industries, I had to own it. You have a strategy of starting the position small and then doing more investigation. And a little bit after in the letter, you have some philosophical points about investing, something that can be really valuable for us who want to learn from the best. A decade ago, I realized I needed to be as comfortable with my investments when I was away from my desk as when I was at it. I was on a long distance flight on an investment research trip, and I realized that I thought very differently about Heineken than in the portfolio and Nestle than I did about other companies where the outcome was more uncertain. I began shifting away from binary outcomes where the range of results is wide and uncertain, and toward more durable and time-friendly compounders where time is our friend and the range of outcomes runs from decent to superb with a very low chance of permanent loss. This is something that is very helpful for us investors to only focus our attention on great companies. And the range of outcomes is very simple to understand. Either the company continues to be good, or maybe it can get even better. Most of the time, winners keep on winning, right? So the goal of Guy Spier, and with his portfolio, the goal was very clear, to invest in wonderful companies. He did not touch turnaround plays or very tiny part of his portfolio. He did not touch a lot of value investing special opportunities. No, I'm aware you had a couple of value investing plays, but most of the companies he had in his portfolio were wonderful companies that keep on growing profitably. This is where the portfolio is already positioned, and many of the names are inevitable, as Warren Buffett might call them, and familiar to you. Berkshire Hathaway, MasterCard, American Express, Nestle, Moody's, and others. You can also expect me over time to exit investments, so he will sell everything. He will sell everything, and his portfolio will no longer be public. Also, you have a paragraph, fund organization going forwards. What will really happen to Aquamarine Fund? They say that they will become a family office. So they will no longer manage outside capital, external investors. It will only be a small, tiny fund for him and his family, or maybe close relatives. But yeah, no longer accepting external clients and returning capital to everyone. Okay, moreover, he says, my plan is to continue with my investing activities. ValueX in particular will be a place where I will meet managers. ValueX is an annual conference he has, which is great. Value investing conference with great people. So I will meet managers and perhaps invest with them as other invitees have. I will also learn about new investment ideas and potentially partner up with other attendees of ValueX in exploiting special situations with a small part of the portfolio. I continue to hold you, my former investors, in high regard. Consider yourselves as members of my extended family. We will do our best to welcome you at ValueX, and we will try to help with other invitations and access as we can. Yes, so this is a big change. Then there is a paragraph about being open about his disease, talking about brain cancer that over the past 20 years in oncology, Not much progress has been made with brain cancer. He's thanking the medical team. He's thanking his friends. Yeah, that's maybe the last letter when it comes to his fund, so it's normal. Some advice on life. 1. Live your best life. 2. Whatever gifts nature gave you, use them. Don't have any shame. 3. Delete envious people. 4. Time. The medium term does not exist for me anymore. It's either now or eternally. 5. Keep a positive attitude and don't complain. 6. He didn't like meditation because of ADHD, I suppose. You have a point here about courage with his wife and his family. And 8, when it comes to the reward for all this suffering, I have learned that there are no medals, nor are any medals required. Where there is life, there is hope. I learned that from my father, who probably read it in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings or the writings of Cicero. The reward for being here is just that, being here. To be one of the 100 billion or so humans who have ever lived, to be here today, to simply be here to see it all unfold. So that's a very unfortunate letter, but we now know what is happening with Aquamarine Capital. He will continue to invest, but privately. And when you are managing a lot of money, a lot of capital, you have a duty to your shareholders. If you have problems when it comes to your health, maybe you are not so sure you can continue for a while, it's safe, cautious to make this decision. And I'm sure the decision was not very easy to make. Very difficult decision to make, very courageous to do it publicly and to share so much publicly. So yeah, a couple of updates. It's just for today, so the news is really fresh. I wish the best recovery to Guy Spier, and I wish the best for all his projects in the future. He's one of the legendary investors you want to learn from. We spoke a few times at key events like annual meetings in Omaha. And I think going forward, the only way to know more about Guy Spier and his private portfolio will be on YouTube interviews. If or when he's doing YouTube interviews publicly, maybe he will share some updates with his private portfolio. Maybe there will be some changes in his investment style. I don't think so, but it's always interesting to follow what legendary investors are doing. So wish him the best, and I see you tomorrow for another video. Bye bye.